Today, we take a walk on the wild side. Alright, this is the Casio GA2100SKE. Doesn't that just roll off the tongue? Now this G-Shock is not perfect, and that's okay because neither am I. Before we continue, let's go over the essentials in the next 60 seconds. The size of the case measures 48.5 by 45.4. It is just 11.8 millimeters thick, just about perfect for a G-Shock, and I do love the thinness here. Total weight is just 51 grams. As the name suggests, the watch is also shock resistant. The carbon core protected module 5611 also features digital time with running seconds, world time, alarms, stopwatch, countdown timer, and also a digital perpetual calendar function. The case is not quite fully see-through and has a misty appearance. The strap, unlike the case, is completely transparent and features quick-release spring bars. The lume then is reserved to the hour and minute hand only. However, as the watch features a light, you should be able to read the time at any time of the day on this watch. Now, with the specs out of the way, let's get to the important points here. 3 in fact. So this watch has been overhyped quite a bit, praised for its looks and whatnot, and with that I have noticed that people conveniently leave out the negatives about this watch when reviewing it. Now let's start with my number 1 issue I have experienced with this watch, which I feel you should know about before you buy this. It requires a bit of patience here, but I'll talk you through it. This is a watch that has a very nice water resistance. However, let's look together at what happens when I place this watch in the water for essentially just a few seconds here. Now, while we wait, I bought this watch for myself, in particular for those times where I don't want to wear a mechanical watch. It's also a fun-looking summer watch. It just screams vacation and overall good times. So in that context, I fully intend to take it for a swim now and then, which is again nothing out of the ordinary for a G-Shock. Now, as you will see, it instantly collects water between the bezel material and the case of the watch. This happens all the time. So if you wash your hands and a bit of water touches the watch, chances are it will be sitting there. It's pretty unbelievable, in fact, how quickly and easily it gets in there. To my eye, this is not a good look. The equivalent of walking out of a bathroom with toilet paper stuck to the bottom of your shoe. It's just not a good look. Now, perhaps you do not intend to wear this watch near water at any point in time. Well, that's not the only way for this to happen. As you will see here, during a simple mountain hike on a hot summer day, I noticed that here again water appeared under the bezel. That water was of course sweat. It found its way in that spot again. Now, as a result, on a 2-week hike, my watch always had water between the bezel and the case. It is, by any definition, a bit of a silly look. Now, once the water gets in there, depending on the temperature and the climate you are in, the water tends to stay there for a while as well. It doesn't just disappear after a few minutes. Nope, it sits there for a few hours or days in the worst case. Now then, the other point I wanted to discuss is the yellowing of the bracelet. So this is a transparent resin and that means it will yellow over time. Anyone that tells you this is not the case is basically lying to you. Now, after just 2 weeks of summer, I can already confirm that the strap has taken on that familiar nicotine yellow tint. It's subtle, but it is definitely present. I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick this up. Now the case is fine, the bracelet is definitely not the same, however, as on the day I bought it. I don't mind the look at all and I was fully expecting it to happen. I will admit that I did not expect it to happen so quickly, however. Another point about the bracelet, while we're on the subject anyway, out of the box this was not a comfortable strap at all. I was surprised at just how stiff it felt and it did remind me of the plastic used for bottles. However, after a week of wear it softened up quite a bit and at this point it feels great on the wrist, so give it some time to break in. Now then, a third minor point perhaps which the watch shares with all the other ones in the 2100 range is that little screen. For essentially 10 minutes per hour, it's difficult to read since the hands are blocking the screen in some way. Now that's basically 4 hours a day. The watch does have a feature where you can press 2 buttons which then moves the arrow out of the way. It is a cool look and it's easy enough when the watch is off the wrist to press those 2 buttons. However, on the wrist it is a bit of a hassle for me. Minor inconvenience, but I felt that this needed some pointing out as well. Now, overall, do I still like this watch? Well, yes, 100%, or I guess 99%. So this watch just screams fun and I love the form factor here as well. The second time zone comes in handy as well as the timer, which I used quite a bit. So the water issue was confusing at first. I wasn't quite sure, is my watch broken or what's going on here? Then, as I understood, it is just, well, basically that's what this watch does. It was irritating, especially as I noticed that it was basically going to happen all the time. And I would certainly prefer that it didn't happen, of course, but I've basically accepted that the watch isn't perfect, which is again fine for me. Now, if this would be my only watch, however, then this would be a deal breaker for me. So if you are looking at getting this as your only watch and you love the overall look, then I would perhaps suggest you, or no, I would strongly suggest you look at any of the other colors, where you will at the very least not have that water staring at you all day, every day, all year long. The yellowing issue then is absolutely real, of course, no surprise there, and it doesn't take a lot of time spent in the sun to kick in. I was fully expecting that, so here again, the fact that it is now happening to the bracelet is not a reason why I should suddenly dislike the watch. However, with that being said, I am truly curious about your opinion at this point, in particular also concerning that water issue. Is that a deal breaker for you, or is perhaps the yellowing the red line for you that you're not willing to cross? Let me know in the comments. I'm generally curious how you view these features of the watch, if you will. Now, as always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoy this content, well, don't hesitate to subscribe. Thank you very much and see you next time.